Happy Devils Wednesday. This is Game Day Live. We're in a primetime radio studios. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks blog contributor Vinny Parisi, the real boss of Pucks and Pitchforks blog. Just checking if Nick Villano is listening in. We'll probably be reprimanded by him. Hello, everybody. It's a big Game Day Live. Devils taking on the Rangers at Madison Square Garden, the most famous train station in North America. Vinny, hello. Sorry if I actually screwed up starting this podcast. I was out of my rhythm. I forgot to put the Twitter live feed. I actually literally forgot to put the Twitter live feed. It's up now. How are you, Vinny?
I'm doing good. It's always great when the Devils play the Rangers. It always gets the blood going. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. Got the Twitter thing figured out, it sounds like. And I don't know if this wasn't there before, but the Rangers suck sign that you have chilling up there. I don't know why I never noticed that if it wasn't always there.
It's only game day. Anytime they play the Rangers, it just comes out. It's actually autographed,
Okay.
believe it or not, with I think Dinas Zubris has signed it. Patrick Elias has signed it as well. And I forgot the other guy. I think Mike Rupp. I think he did sign it
That's
at
awesome.
one
I
point.
love that. I need one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I think we all do. You know what we should do? We should have a free giveaway. A free giveaway
Ooh.
of that Rangers suck sign. See, we can't sell it because suddenly it becomes a trademark issue, and then the NHL gets involved, and then the cease and desist letters. It's not like I haven't, been through it before, Vinny.
Never,
All
never,
right,
never.
so let's get a little serious right now. Devils Rangers. Devils are on a 4-game winning streak, 4-0-0, undefeated in preseason. The Rangers were really pissed and mad after getting beaten up by a bunch of young kids called the New Jersey Devils, losing 7-1 at Prudential Center last Friday. Uh, they started to do some team bonding. They promised that we got to put a better effort in, yada, yada, yada. Uh, Now you're going to Madison Square Garden. The Devils, not exactly putting their big lineup in, but Jonathan Bernier is supposed to, according to Amanda Stein, supposed to play all 60 minutes with Nico Dawes backing up. What else do you know, Vinny? Do you know who's starting?
I know that we're not going to see Hughes, but we got good news about him today that he was practicing in a non-contact sweater and that he's a possibility to play tomorrow. No Severson or Smith, obviously. Um, I don't blame the Rangers for being annoyed with the Devils. I know it's just preseason, but you don't want to get outplayed that bad. And it's not like the Devils beat them 2-1 in overtime. And to feel good as a Devils fan, it's not like they won by a bunch of guys who won't play playing for the Rangers or a bunch of guys who won't play for them contributing. It's the right guys you want to see. It's Dawson Mercer, Alex Holtz, these guys looking like legit NHL players, and then seeing Nico and Jack do what they do. It's great.
Yeah, I just put the ticker up. You see, it's the Eastern Standard Time for those that are actually going to the game at Madison Square Garden, going to that dump. And if you're at the bar right now, watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, it gives our fans a little heads up what time it is, so they don't have to like look at their watch, be like, "Oh no, last call, gotta go," and then turn off the podcast. No, we want you listening in, watching in, and also those going into the city on the train. Hey, it's safe. But if you're driving into the city right now, I highly suggest you just Bluetooth it, but don't look at the screen. There's nothing to look at. 10 and 2 on the wheel and drive safely. Do not watch and drive at the same time. And don't even, if anyone that has a Tesla, don't do that automated crap. It's too risky at this point. Just put it on because we will start having audio streaming, live audio streaming for those fans that want to listen to us while they drive before they go to the game. I just want to put that out there because it's a concern of mine because I got yelled at by my own wife for watching the podcast and driving at the same time a few years ago.
Yeah, this is the perfect show to like lean into the game. If you're heading there, you got exactly what time it is right above me, and you know that if it's 6:11, you know you got about 20 minutes to get to the stadium, or till the show is over, and then you'll be able to head over to the stadium. It's just perfect all around.
Yeah, and you know what we're doing because we should tell people the new concept. This podcast will be alternating from the primetime radio studios and the confines of our own homes, but also at Todd's Lounge 973 across the street from Prudential Center. We're going to try to do a lot of game day lives at the bar. Vinny, you're beaming in from Chicago. October 15th, opening night. It's going to be a very special night for a variety of reasons. It's more than just Devils opening night. This season, we get to go back. It's almost been 2 years since we had full capacity opening night, and I remember that game when we were up 4-0, and then it all
Oh
collapsed. But that's a distant memory. But it's going to be a special night. We're going over the top at Taj Lounge 973, across the street from Prudential Center, on Edison Place. I've already ordered the monitors. We're going to have monitors outside, barring any unforeseen weather conditions. So you can listen to us outside safely, or you can watch us inside safely. And there's, Taj Lounge has 3 or 4 bars in that establishment. So we're gonna have a lot of cameras, getting fans' opinions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, very good. I love hearing that. And people who go to the bar before the game, it's the perfect place to chill and listen to us preview what you're about to see once you head over to the actual stadium. So definitely an exciting thing, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. So getting back to Devils Rangers, Vinny, I know it's just preseason, but when I got up this morning, I was already pumped up and hyper. Because if the Devils make it 5 straight, and there's been a lot of talk about Dawson Mercer and Alexander Holtz, a good possibility. Could they actually make the opening night roster? If they're not playing, I don't know. I don't have the roster sheet in front of me. I don't know if they're playing tonight. I don't think they are. But if they're not playing tonight, and we see a big drop off in confidence and just gameplay, it'd be hard pressed to start them in Utica. I think they will get the playing time with the big club. I don't think they're going to be the 22nd and 23rd players on the roster. I think they're going to be in the top 6. Maybe not to start, but they have that potential.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You want these guys, if you are trying to win this year, which it kind of seems like the Devils are, based on what I've seen, there's no reason to not at least see them at the beginning of the season. They got 9 games before they reach their entry level minimum or whatever, however verbiage they used to describe it. But I mean, you got to see what these guys can do. And you saw someone like Bratt crack the lineup a couple years ago, and then he stuck around all this time, and now he's a great player. So Dawson Mercer and Holtz, who have 2 completely higher ceilings, why not see them through? And based on how they've been playing, it's not like they've looked outmatched or anything like that so far this preseason. So I'm all in on giving them a shot and seeing what they can do once the puck drops for real. So let them keep playing in the preseason. They're good players.
Yeah, and again, I would not be afraid to play them. If anybody remembers 1999-2000 season, you had a variety of rookies. Brian Rafalski, Scott Gomez, John Madden. Eventually Colin White came into the mix and had a big part of winning the Stanley Cup. As long as Dawson Mercer and Alexander Holtz gets the playing time, gets the learning experience, get acclimated with NHL play, and also the brutal schedule as well. We're back to 82 games now. It's not abbreviated, so it may weigh on them, maybe towards March and April. But you have that big break in February where you can kind of recharge the batteries, so to speak. So, with that said, if they're still playing well to the last game, Thursday night, tomorrow night, you know what I'd say? Let them make the roster. But then again, you got someone like Jimmy Vesey that is doing everything he can. He's fighting to be on this team, fighting for his career, and you can't discount that at all. scoring the empty net goal, not giving up, and there's something to be said about that, as well.
Yeah, I think there's room for at least one of the two kids and someone like Jimmy VC. And we know Miles Wood will be in the bottom six, Pavel Zaka, Michael McLeod, but Nathan Bastian's gone. So it'd be nice to have
Yes.
someone down there who can play solid defense, maybe chip in a little offense here and there. And VC could be that guy. If you got Holtz and Mercer, man in a third line, and then, at least as an extra forward on the team, I think someone like Jimmy VC could have a spot based on their opponent as well.
Michael Hay in the Facebook Live makes a great point. He says, yes, with many home games early, winning start imperative. Look, if you have these rookies and, in the month of October, there are a lot of Devils home games at Prudential Center. It could ease the transition to the NHL. And then, is like what I said before about that February break, it's kind of a checkpoint to see where they are at, in their development. And it's okay if they are sent down at some point in November, December. It happens all the time. But just to get a taste of the big club, get a taste of opening night, get a taste of Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves, and having all those big boys back there, Kevin Dineen is in Utica, and I'll tell you, I have a lot of respect for him as a coach, as a former player. The guy is knowledgeable; they can learn. But for right now, I'm leaning towards having them in the opening night lineup. I don't. They have not. I haven't seen anything that would deter me not to.
Yeah, and the Devils have used first-year players, like in terms of the year they were just drafted, in the upcoming season before, and these guys are 2 years removed now. So It's been done before. Guys have been successful before. There are plenty of people from their draft class competing in the NHL now. So why not give them a shot? Why? It also might give a boost to some of the other players on the team. If you're Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier, and you know that your fourth line or third line consists of guys like Dawson Mercer or Alexander Holtz, instead of guys who just kind of have been there and done that, it might give guys like that a boost.
Yeah. Switching gears, Vinny. Tom Fitzgerald just beefed up a little bit more on defense. Mason Gearston will play his former teammates tonight in Madison Square Garden. The defense keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We talk about, the Twin Peaks of Dougie Hamilton and Ryan Graves, but when you talk about depth on defense, Kevin Ball being a big size, Mark Mandulin, he's not with the club right now with size. They make Damon Severson and PK Subban and Ty Smith like, small players, but they're not. I mean, with the exception of Ty. Ty's a little short, but it's nice to know that there will always be a pairing right now that could deter all the shenanigans against the Devils' talented front.
Yeah, and it's kind of a nice spot to be in, and they can use that Gerston guy as a forward or a defenseman, as we've seen so far in the preseason, and having some nice size back there with guys like Kevin Ball and obviously Dougie Hamilton and Graves. It makes you think they're going to be harder to play against in their own end, which should lead to plenty of breakout chances the other way if they're good at winning 50-50 puck battles and being hard in front of their own net and making Mackenzie Blackwood's life easier, or Jonathan Bernier, whoever's starting that day. there's just so much good that could come from it. So I'm a fan of adding some extra size on the back end because the forward group is talented enough where you want to start trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah. And I will say, defense is back with the Devils. New Jersey, the brand before HBSE, Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, as now they are the carrier of the torch from Jeff Vanderbeek and previously Dr. McMullen, that defense is back. When you think of New Jersey Devils hockey, you think of Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermeyer, Ken Danico, Bruce Driver, guys that were heart and soul of the team, could really dictate the momentum by simply shutting down their opponent so badly. It didn't matter back in the day how much firepower you had. When you played New Jersey, you had to be on top of your game night in and night out, because if you're not, they're going to exploit mistakes. Right now, with the size the Devils have, and again, their special teams is a little concerning, the penalty kill, but I think maybe by the 20th game, 30th game, they may have fixed that, hopefully. But when you look at this defense, Vinny, on paper at least, they will wear down the opposing forwards if they use the body and their positioning is good. They're going to wear down teams. And that transition game, those forwards can fly. It's fun and gun. This is no longer the trapping defense, stifling defense of the New Jersey Devils. We're talking about big guys with the outlet pass up, guys that can clear the crease. And Mackenzie Blackwood is also, 6'4", 6'5" as well.
Yep.
There's simply no space to shoot the puck. Literally. There's no space. These guys are big. All they have to do is play their position. Am I right?
Yeah, and it's good to know because, like you said, their brand for so long has been like defensive hockey, right? They're the Pittsburgh Steelers or Chicago Bears of the NHL. Like, they're just these franchise that's known for the type of game they play being more towards the defensive side. But as we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years in the NHL, the teams that have the best balance have been the most successful. Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Los Angeles were awesome at keeping the other team from scoring goals. They were defensive-minded teams first, but nobody really realized that because of names like Kopitar and Crosby and Kane. Like, that's what the Devils, it kind of seems to me like they're trying to become that. They're trying to become a team that is very sturdy on the back end, but the players you're going to hear about because they're gifted offensively are Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Sharon Govich, Kwokin, all of them. So I think what they're building with the blue line is probably the best way to go about it, because if you can't protect the house, you can't win.
Point well taken. You always build from the goalie out. Now, what the Devils did, they kind of built from out in, but right now,
that's a result of winning lotteries.
Yes. You're absolutely correct. But you got to give credit where credit's due with the scouting department. Sharon Govich is proving a lot of people wrong. Sharon Govich may be the team leader in goals. Maybe not this season, but eventually. 5th round pick. That's scouting. Was he 5th round? I thought he was 5th round, right?
Yeah, 5th round. And like going into last year, I had him in the second to last tier of my prospect pyramid. And then he just made me look so bad within days. He scored the overtime winner against the Bruins. I'm with you. I think he's going to lead the Devils in goals this season. I took some heat for that on Twitter. I'm sticking by that. I think Hughes is going to lead the team in points, and I think Sharangovich is going to lead him in goal scoring. With that shot and the way he's just so tenacious to the net, even when it's not a shot worthy type of situation, like he's just got a nose for the net. He knows how to score goals in multiple ways. And I agree with you. That's a product of the scouting. The scouting has been able to pick out guys like Sharangovich, Bratt. They made the wise decision to choose Nico over Nolan. And it wasn't really a debate for me, but taking Jack over Capo Caco. Mackenzie Blackwood is a really good goalie. They identified him and drafted him, and he replaced Corey Schneider. There's just been so many things over the last couple of years that have really kind of shown that they've taken a step in the right direction with their scouting.
Kind of a chip on his shoulder, Sharangovich, if you think about it. I love, more than anything, his talents. I love his confidence in himself. And I also like the edge he plays, the chip on his shoulder, like as if he is a Jersey boy from Belarus, someone that's not going to take anybody's crap. You remember that he, flipped the bird in that one international game. Don't condone it, but you know what? I had to laugh and say, "Hey, that's my boy. That's my boy." Okay, just don't
I
do
think I'm
that
one
and
of the
get
only
penalties
people.
in the NHL.
I
Go
think I'm
ahead.
one of the only people who liked that he did that. Like, of course, you don't condone it. You don't want
Yeah,
the teenagers flipping each other off. Like, I get it from that point of view. But when I'm thinking
yeah.
about it from like an NHL point of view and I'm like a New Jersey Devils scope, I'm like, that's a guy who's going to have to compete against, some of the Drew Dowdys and the Foxes and all the great defensemen that are in the league. Like, those are the guys that are going to be defending you over the next couple years, and they're tough, they're hard. So, like, if you kind of have like that middle finger attitude, I think that could help you in the NHL.
Yeah. Yeah. And because the Devils have been so soft for so long, it was almost refreshing. Remember when Ray Shero went on a tirade and there were a lot of F bombs? And of course, the press censored it out. It's like, blah, 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 censored, 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 blah, 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 censored, 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 censored. And that made me love Ray. Again, don't condone it, because there are kids that watch the Devils, but at the same time, it's more not so much cursing, it's more of an attitude. It's more of us against the world. It's energizing, refreshing. And that's what Sharangovich, more than anything else. Forget about statistics, because I'm not a big analytics guy. It's what he brings to the table, that confidence, and hopefully the rest of the team, it reciprocates a rest of the team. Now, Jesper Bratt, again, I can't wait to see him use some of that muscle where he's driving hard to the net and they can't knock him off the puck, and making him very dangerous when his line mates are trailing behind. Or, hey, kick it back out to Dougie Hamilton or PK Subban, Damon Severson, Ty Smith. Now our defense is getting involved with the offense. It used to look like 3-on-5 in the offensive zone. Now it's 5-on-5. And I think 5-on-5, even in strength, is going to be the Devils really what they're going to be known for with this young nucleus. Is how they're going to dominate games 5-on-5. It's just that special teams, that penalty kill, especially that worries me quite a bit.
Yeah, and when you think about it, there's a guy who could play on each pair that you would consider like an offensive guy, where if Bratt does get it up to the point, they can make something happen with it. And guys like Nico and Jack and Yegor and Yanni, they're all good around the net. They could tip pucks, they could bank in rebounds, they could make plays if the defenseman decides to pass it off. And there's plenty of guys who you can call like a defensive-minded guy to pair with one of those offensive defensemen. So, like, if it's Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves is going to be there, and, he'll be really good on his own end and make up for any mistakes that a riverboat gambler like Dougie Hamilton will try and make. And, so I'm with you on that. I do think I also want to say that I agree with the attitude thing. Like, it's just a style of play, and you want the Devils to be aggressive and believe they have a chance to win. So I think watching someone like Brad is going to be entertaining this year because I love what he does with the puck when he's in tight in areas that are hard to make plays.
Like that in your face attitude, but let your skill and grit do all the talking. Because
Yep.
again, how many transitional goals we're going to see this season? Up the ice, bank it off the board. I'm also interested. We talked about the penalty kill, but I'm also interested if they can shore that up, how the Devils are shorthanded with the amount of speed they have at the forward position on the kill. I mean, or say if too many men on the ice penalty and suddenly Sharangovich is in the box serving it and the puck just, a little cherry pick move. I think we're going to see quite a bit of it because, again, stretching the ice is going to put the opposing blue line on their heels and it changes the entire dynamics of the Devils defense as a whole. Sometimes the best defense is your offense. As long as the puck's not in the defensive zone, they can't score. I know that sounds elementary,
Absolutely.
kind of
It's so
kind of
true, though.
juvenile.
It's so true, though. And I would use Hughes as a penalty killer. That's kind of one of my like hottest takes going into the season right now because he was top 10 last year in takeaways. Like this guy could be a Selke trophy. And we weren't sold on that when he came out of the U.S. national program. We were like, when Jack Hughes is in his prime, he'll never be as good defensively as Nico is right now. And that's just not true.
Yeah,
Like Nico, he's amazing. He's a great two-way Selke type guy himself. But Jack, like the takeaway numbers were astonishing last year. And even more than Nico, Jack can turn that into offense as good as any young transitional forward in the league. So I'm with you. In order to help the penalty kill, why not put the guy who's so good at takeaways and fast? Penalty killing isn't what it once was. There are lots of different ways to go about it now. You could be aggressive. You see teams like the Edmonton Oilers. They're so aggressive on the penalty kill. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl kill penalties together. They're their number one unit. And guess what happens if they force the other team to make a mistake using their speed? They have a 2-on-1 the other way, and they score a shorthanded goal a fair amount of times. So I'm not saying Jack Hughes is Connor McDavid or by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody is, but you get what I'm saying, like in terms of the philosophy.
yeah, but I gotta tell you, Dawson Mercer, Jack Hughes, Sharangovich, they have Connor McDavid's speed. When they fly through that neutral zone, it is a pleasure to watch. One
Yep.
on one. It's a pleasure. And you know what? That's the skill part of the game that we all love. Because I know I've been criticized online about, some fans are accusing me of going back to the 1970s. The game, of course, the game's not played like that. Back then, it was a different type of game, but the code is still there. I still believe that the code is still there because you still see remnants of it in the playoffs. You see it with Blake Coleman, what he brought to the Tampa Bay Lightning, that grit, that firepower, shooting on his back. So it's kind of like brawn and skill at the same time. You have to play both games. That's why I love Sharon Govich and now Jesper Bratt because they're trying to be those guys where they're not just one dimensional, that they've got a whole multifacet of tools to win big games, And you know what? This Metropolitan Division, Vinny, I think the Devils are going to be a sleeper team, a spoiler team, where oh crap, the Devils are playing. We really got to work in the offensive zone, and fighting to even like get any kind of daylight to shoot the puck at. I mean, try to get that puck. Again, I hate to beat a dead horse. Try to get the puck through Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves, and Mackenzie Blackwood standing in front of the crease. There physically is no room there.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for other teams to find room, like you said, and the Metropolitan, the Islanders and the Capitals, they seem like locks. You like the Hurricanes, but for the rest of the teams trying to make it out of the wild card with the Atlantic and all that, the Devils should be right there with the Rangers and the Flyers, and on the other side, the Canadiens or the Maple Leafs. Like, why not? They have all these great players. I do think some of the young players up front are the key to that happening because we know what we're going to get from Dougie Hamilton and Graves and Subban and Ty Smith. But, like, can they score enough? And so far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to find out right now. Do you know what channel the game's on, Vinny? I should have looked at that
I
beforehand.
I could take a look for you really quick. I know that it's definitely on TV tonight because I remember seeing it on my ESPN Plus app, like we discussed in the pregame show. Yep, it's on MSG and MSG Plus. So I'm assuming one of them will be the New York Rangers or they might do that duo thing and they just broadcast them on both.
Yeah,
Like where they
all
have
I want
Ken
is
Danico be the
Erica and
color
Bryce.
commentator.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want Erica and Bryce because Bryce, his analysis is so spot on. It's like he's the professor, and I feel like I'm the pupil, and he just, it's the way he dissects those plays. It's very Tommy Romo esque sometimes when you hear his
Yeah.
analysis. I know it's football.
And it's proof that like we don't know what we're talking about when we like discuss NHL leadership positions in terms of like on ice stuff because I remember and I love Bryce Salvador so much. I'm a huge fan. But when he was first named captain way back when after Zach Parise left, I was very surprised. I was very surprised. I did not think that like the third line defenseman would be named captain. And then a couple years go by, he retires. Now he's doing what he does today, and I'm like, I get it. I understand why he was the captain. He sees hockey in a way and is able to articulate. Everybody could see hockey. You could teach the game to a lot of people, but it's your ability to articulate it like that. And I understand why he was named the captain right after Parisi left because his breakdowns are awesome. That guy knows the game inside and out. Shout out to you, Bryce.
Yep, a big friend of the podcast, Vinny. Just a couple things. Housekeeping. Getty27 says, Big D, baby. Defense wins championships from the YouTube Live. Cheryl Miller says, about to go to a bar and find the game. Hey, you know what? If this becomes a problem, we may have to have viewing parties with our own fans. And we better make sure that the bar has the game because nobody knows where anything is. But we'll figure that out. Also, State of the Fan address tonight. Tonight, live podcast during the game. This is how hardcore we are. We have a special guest. His name is Mike Kelly, NHL Network analyst, is going to be on the program as the game is going on in the background. Also, after the game around 10 p.m. Eastern, I will be going solo for post-game live because we're going to recap the game. We're going to hopefully celebrate. And also, we're going to continue our protest for Xfinity Comcast to carry MSG networks. I don't care who's right or wrong. The only thing right is to get our New Jersey Devils on Cheryl Miller's TV or Vinny's TV, although you're out of market, or anybody's TV, because we have a right to pay and watch our team get it done. And I'm sick and tired of these press releases that I haven't ever gotten from MSG Networks as they signed a deal with Fios. I don't want that kind of press release. I want a press release from MSG Networks how the Devils spanked the Rangers in their own building and took the train home because that's what it's known for. And I don't even know,
Yeah,
is de Blasio going to knock down the Madison Square Garden? That's been the rumor like the last 5 years. Like, are they knocking it down to make it a train station? Or is that just folklore?
Yeah, the world may never know, but they better get this TV thing figured out because, like you said, I'm out of market. I'm using ESPN Plus. John Buccigross confirmed that every single game that's not on TNT is available on ESPN Plus. So that's good news for those people watching all over the world. I know we got a lot of those on here, but I'll tell you, we got people watching this show We got people that read the blogs. We got people that follow us on
Yeah.
Twitter and look to us for insight. Those people need to be able to watch the games too, and we're looking out for them just as much as we are ourselves.
Yeah, and also, what blogs are they reading? Pucksandpitchforks.com, right?
You
Yep,
know it.
Vinny Parisi, Nick Villano, and the rest of the gang. Myself, once a week. Oh, crap, I didn't even write my blog this week. I know I'm going to get crap from Nick. This
Yeah.
is what happens before we go on air.
And
So,
I
you're
was
going
going
to
to say
send me
about
something?
time.
You're gonna send me something? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be writing it, and like a total procrastinator, like in high school or college, like writing a term paper. It's like 4 a.m. It's like, I gotta write this blog for Nick, and you're like punching it in. It's like,
Yeah.
grammar mistake. He'll fix it. And then you
He's
just
basically
submit,
like all of
right?
our English teaching.
Yep. And also, my other, I have my other blog, hockeybuzz.com. I'm doing more with them as well. But pucksandpitchforks.com, it's just marrying the two families. And one of the things before we go, Vinny, our goal of Game Day Live is to unite the entire Devils fandom family around the world. Rally with us, because when we start winning and we start making the playoffs, and we're starting to upset these juggernauts, if you want to call them that, we'll be doing it on Game Day Live and Post Game Live. And the Let's Go Devils
I love
Podcast
it.
Sunday edition, State of the Fan Address. We podcast hardcore, and we will be there October 15th at Todd's Lounge 973 for an over-the-top, big-budget production coming out of my pocket, where we have monitors outside, weather permitting, with speakers, with the blessing of the city of Newark, to talk about our Devils hockey. And I'm also going to be DJ Woo, too. DJ Shelley actually had a wedding to do that night. So I'll be getting the tracks all ASCAP approved. And yeah, it's actually, believe it or not, Vinny, you have to look into that stuff, because I'm not going to get blamed for something. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And before we let you go, Vinny, it's going to be over the top, and I'm trying to get a good guest there as well. You could watch safely outside the Taj Lounge 973, or you can watch safely inside Taj Lounge 973. And Vinny, you'll be beaming in from Chicago, and you're gonna be jealous.
Sure. Well, I'm already jealous, and it's not even there yet. But I'm very excited to get this going and be there with the fans, and hope I can help bring smiles to people's faces while we take in some Devils hockey this season. So thank you to everyone who's coming. Thank you to everyone who has watched this show. I can't wait.
All right. Well, I'll be on with Nick Villano, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for State of the Fan Address with Mike Kelly, our special guest, NHL Network analyst, and Post Game Live around 10 p.m. Eastern after the Devils play the New York Rangers. Enjoy the game, everybody. Till next time, let's go Devils.